Derrick, can you walk us through how the appeals process works? From start to back, if a client or potential client were to, and I know how we operate here at LNY.
Sure.
But because you're the expert, I want you to kind of elaborate on not just at your current role now, but historically at some of your other firms too, best common practices, and if someone wanted to come on board as a client or potential client, what the process kind of looks like,
Okay.
and then and how you operate, if you don't mind.
No, I think that's a great question, right? Because I think your clients, other clients, anyone watching the podcast needs to realize that there are certain things you can do to make sure you're getting a top-notch provider. And to your point, yeah, there's a lot of people that market via mail, via email. You're getting blasted with flyers. Now you got the social media marketing where you don't know what you're getting, right? Here's what I would tell you. Take your time, do your due diligence, and make sure you have a good provider, whatever that provider is. So at the Big Four, I've taken what I learned growing up, watching my father do it at multiple firms, 2 Big Fours, and kind of put together what I consider best practices along with the best practices of the firm. And what we've come up with is a very exhaustive and in-depth implementation process to make sure we sit down with the client. They have full visibility into, what our expectations are from them. Like data integrity is important. So I need to make sure I'm getting good data from the client. And then their expectations for us.
Yeah. And what he's referring to, guys, when he's talking about data integrity, it's the same thing that we do, not just for property tax, but do the same thing for sending out what we call these tax organizers for income tax purposes. I know these can be very tedious things to fill out. I promise you, Derrick or myself, we're not just trying to task you with a bunch of different, honey-do lists to kind of fill out. We understand, but that information helps us get the right information to, in this situation, fight your property tax.
Absolutely. So I'll use the example. So if I have a client that has 100 properties, if 2 of those properties have incorrect data, or they give us a wrong account number, or they've sold that account, or they bought a new property and they didn't give it to us, that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax savings that weren't realized by just one error or omission. So we like to take the time on the front end and make sure that that data is correct. We go through and say, is this the most recent list? We'll double check the data. And then it goes into our system, what we call our matrix, our CRE matrix, commercial real estate matrix. And for my national clients, that's going to spit out a lot of dates and deadlines, saying, okay, here's when you can expect your notice of value. Here's your statewide deadline. A lot of states outside of Texas have what we call a notice value deadline. So you may have 30 days from the date of your notice. Texas is a statutory deadline, which is good about Texas. It's always going to be May 15th, where your renditions will be due April 15th. So that's half the battle, right? Data integrity, getting everything into our system, visibility to the client. And then what we do is we make sure to have quarterly business reviews. So we call them QBRs. And so after every 3 months, January, February, March, we're going to meet in April and we're going to go through everything that was done. It's an updated matrix. And then we're going to talk about everything that's coming up in the next quarter. And we found that to be extremely effective. And then come January, once you close your books, if you're running on a calendar year, we sit down with you and we go through the year. And so by having these quarterly business reviews, and clearly, as a client, we let you establish a cadence. I have some clients that I talk to weekly. I have some clients I talk to monthly, but most of them are good with the quarterly business review from that level of, just finding a rhythm to communicate.
Yeah. And just to hit on that even more, I think what Derrick's elaborating on here is continuous client communication. If you're not constantly in contact with your clients, how do you actually know what's going on? Right. So if whoever you hire, if they're not doing those things, you're not going to get the best benefit for you. I say it time and time again, they're an extension of you.
Right.
So, you want that extension to represent you in the right way. You got to hire the right people. And as Derrick alluded to, whether you choose him or his Big Four or our firm or whoever you choose, just make sure you do your due diligence, right? I wouldn't just, when you get that little flyer in the mail, I wouldn't just take that flyer and go, ooh, yeah, okay. Contingency fee of 40%, 50%. I'm going to go ahead and go with them. And, I see their billboards all over the place. And I'm going to go ahead. I understand marketing and to an extent, we all do have to do that in business. But, what I always like to say is Lamborghini don't have to come out and run commercials out there. And why is that, Derrick? What is their slogan on that? Because we talk about it all the time.
Yeah, they said because our clients aren't sitting there watching TV.
That's right.